All right, here we're going to talk about customary units of measure, and for most of us this is pretty common. We've used this our whole lives. Last I checked, only 3 countries, the United States, Burma, and Liberia, I believe, are the only ones still using customary units of measurement. Everybody else is using the metric system. So while this might be easy for you, if you were a student in a European country, you might think, oh, this makes no sense at all. So anyway, measuring in length, we usually use inches, feet, yards, and miles. And then the equivalent factors: 1 foot is 12 inches, a yard is 3 feet, a mile is 5,280 feet, and a mile is also equivalent to 1,760 yards. As far as capacity, how much something holds, we usually use fluid ounces, cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. And in your equivalencies, a cup is 8 fluid ounces, a pint is 2 cups, a quart is 2 pints, a gallon is 4 quarts. And as far as weight, we use ounces, pounds, and tons mostly. A pound is equivalent to 16 ounces, and a ton is equivalent to 2,000 pounds. Maybe you've seen this before. If not, feel free to write this down. The big capital G just stands for a gallon, and in a gallon you can see the letter Q 4 times, so there's 4 quarts in a gallon. Each quart holds 2 pints. Each pint holds the letter C twice, so that means each pint holds 2 cups. And some of you have seen Mr. Gallon before here. It's the same information, just in another way. So you got the gallon, attached to that is 4 quarts, which means 4 quarts go into each gallon. 2 pints go into each quart. 2 cups in each pint, so 4 cups in a quart. And the capacity equivalencies are listed down below: 8 fluid ounces in a cup, 2 cups in a pint, 4 cups in a quart, 2 pints in a quart, and 4 quarts in a gallon. So, choosing units of measurement, lots of times there's more than one good answer. For weight of a truck, you could kind of just, I would say, either use tons or pounds. Ounces would obviously be way too small. Length of a hallway rug, well, it depends how long the hallway is. Feet, probably good. Yards, probably good. Inches, probably too small. Miles, probably too long unless you have a very, very large hallway. So maybe take a second, try these, and then stop back and check in. So for length of a swimming pool, letter A there, I'd probably have to say feet or yards. Again, for an explanation, inches would be too small, miles would be too long for a normal swimming pool. Letter B, weight of a baby, probably pounds and ounces, or pounds or ounces. Tons, unless you're talking about a baby elephant. I don't think that's going to work. Letter C, length of a pencil, inches most likely, maybe feet if you have one of those really long pencils. Again, miles wouldn't work so well. And capacity of an eyedropper, I think probably fluid ounces is your only good one. If you start talking about an eyedropper that holds cups, quarts, or gallons, that's an awfully large eyedropper. All right, dimensional analysis is a way to use conversion factors to change from one unit of measurement to another. Okay? And you might be saying, well, that makes no sense. Well, in our example here, it says change 500 ounces into pounds using dimensional analysis. Now, I know some of you might be able to just look at it and say, ooh, I know what to do to turn 500 ounces into pounds, and that's fine. I want to show you how dimensional analysis works. It is a very nice tool. It helps keep you organized. So all you do is you start with what they gave you. In this case, they gave us 500 ounces. So we write 500 ounces. The abbreviation for ounces is OZ. And we need to turn 500 into a fraction. Well, that's easy. We just put it over 1. Now, we are trying to turn the ounces into pounds. So what we're going to do is multiply by another fraction. And if we started with ounces and we want to turn the ounces into pounds, we're going to put pounds up here on top. So again, started with ounces. Ounces is up here on top. Turning it into pounds. Pounds goes up here on top. And you got to think, pounds, I'm trying to change into pounds from ounces. So whatever label I have up here on the top left fraction, I need to put that same label on the bottom right. And you'll see why in just a second here. Now I have to think of my equivalencies. Pounds and ounces. 1 ounce is 16 ounces are in 1 pound. This is why we put the labels up first. If you're not careful, you might go too fast, and this would say 16 pounds are in 1 ounce. And we know that's not true. So very important, if you have your labels on there, that you put numbers on there that match up. 1 pound is 16 ounces. Now, we've learned earlier how to multiply fractions. You can go straight across and then simplify. We also talked about simplifying diagonally. And what that was, anytime it was multiplying fractions, you could look at any numerator and any denominator. Oh, I can divide this by 2, and I can divide 500 by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 500 divided by 2 is 250. I can look again. Oh, I'm going to divide again by 2. 250 divided by 2, 125. 8 divided by 2 is 4. I don't think there's any more I can do, so I'm going to multiply straight across. I get 125 on top and 4 on the bottom. Now, remember how we talked about labels? We know that we can cross things out if we have the same on the top and the bottom, same in the numerator and denominator. Ounces and ounces will cancel. The only label left is pounds. So I have 125 over 4. Doing a little math, I know that is 31 1/4 pounds. That's how dimensional analysis works. Again, you might say, oh, I just knew what to do right away. That's fine. You can do it that way. Dimensional analysis is a really good tool. It will help you stay organized. 10 quarts into gallons. Again, if you have a way that works for you, fine. Otherwise, I'm going to do dimensional analysis real quick. 10 quarts. I know it needs to be a fraction. I'm going to change quarts into gallons. So the new label that I want goes on top. The label I'm trying to get rid of goes on the bottom because quarts and quarts, those two labels will cancel. I know there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. And now I can start to simplify. Quarts and quarts will cancel. I'm going to divide by 2 and divide by 2. I get 5 and 2. I think that's all my simplifying. So I get 5 over 2 gallons, which I know is 2.5 gallons. So if I had 10 quarts, that would be 2.5 gallons. So your job is to find the equivalencies of all these. Again, you can use dimensional analysis. If you have a way that works for you, use your way. Try all 3, stop back and see me. Alright, so in letter A, I'm going to use dimensional analysis again. You can do this your way. This works for me. It helps me stay organized. I know I'm changing ounces into pounds, and I know there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. I'm going to get rid of some labels. I'm going to divide by 2, get 7 and 8. I think that's all I've got. So my answer is 7/8 of a pound. If you're somebody who likes decimals, that's 0.875 pounds. Both answers are equivalent. Next one. I've got 14 inches. Need it to be a fraction. I'm trying to change inches into feet. I know there are 12 inches in 1 foot. I'm going to get rid of my labels. Divide by 2 again. I get 7 and 6. Whoops, 6. So I have 7/6 of a foot, which sounds kind of goofy. So maybe I write that as 1 1/6 foot, which again some people don't like. That is 1 foot and 2 inches. And again, you maybe were able to just look at 14 inches and say, well, I know 12 inches are in a foot, so it's 1 foot and there's 2 inches left over. Doesn't matter as long as we can get the same answer and we can explain how we got our answer. All right, last one here. I'm starting with 14 pints. Needs to be a fraction. Dimensional analysis says I'm changing pints into quarts. So this way I know that there is 1 quart in 2 pints. Pints will cancel. I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. Okay, all said and done, 7 quarts. So again, I use dimensional analysis. It helps me stay organized. You do what works for you as long as you get the right answer and you can explain what you did. All right, why would we need to be able to convert from ounces to pounds and back and forth? Here's a great example. We've got store A, which sells 4 1/4 pounds of cashews for $15.99. We've got store B that charges the exact same price for 76 ounces. We want to know which store is going to give us the better buy. We want to get the most for our money. So this is a great example of what to do. Now you got to decide, what do you want to do? Do you want to change pounds into ounces? Do you want to change ounces into pounds? Kind of your choice. I'm going to change the ounces into pounds. So I know I've got 76 ounces. Has to be a fraction because I'm using dimensional analysis. I'm changing ounces into pounds, and I know 1 pound is 16 ounces. Simplify my labels. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 76 divided by 2, I know is 38. 16 divided by 2 is 8. I'm going to divide by 2 again. I get 4. Divide by 2 again here. I get 19. So when I'm done, I have 19/4 of a pound. And you might say, well, I don't know how that compares. Well, doing a little math, 19/4 is 4 3/4 pounds. Hey, 4 3/4 pounds is more than 4 1/4 pounds. So store B is a better buy. You get more for the same price. Again, I chose to change ounces into pounds. Maybe you would change pounds into ounces. Doesn't matter as long as we can realize who's giving us the best purchase price. So your job is to convert these three. Again, any way you want. I will likely use dimensional analysis. Try all three of them. Stop back and see me in a minute or two. All right, I'm going to go kind of quick. 3.5 pounds. If I'm using dimensional analysis, I got to make an improper fraction. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 over 2. I still put my label on top. LB for pounds. I know I'm changing pounds into ounces, and there are 16 ounces in a pound. Do a little simplifying right away. Divide by 2, divide by 2. I get 8, and I get 1. Labels cancel. Leaves me with 56 ounces. Again, if you had a way that works for you, fine. Just be able to explain it and make sure that you're getting the right answer. I'm going to keep using dimensional analysis. 3.5 turns into 7 over 2. Still got my label of yards there. I'm going to multiply. I'm changing yards into feet. I know there are 3 feet in 1 yard. Labels will cancel right away. 7 times 3 is 21 over 2. 21 halves of a foot. Well, that sounds kind of goofy. That's 10.5 feet. And the third one, 3.5 pints. Again, 3.5 is an improper fraction. 7 over 2. Pints is my label. I'm trying to get rid of that label by putting pints on the bottom and changing it into cups. There are 2 cups in 1 pint. Got to do a little simplifying. Labels cancel. 2 divided by 2, 2 divided by 2, both turn into 1. Hey, when I'm done, I have 7 cups. So again, I use dimensional analysis a lot. You decide what works best for you. Good luck today.